Hey Woodturners, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. Got to suit up or I'll get in trouble. You know the deal. These ponchos, they're not cheap, but they sure save some good shirts. And a lot of grief and aggravation. I don't know why other folks think they don't get grief and aggravation, but when I run out of t-shirts, I'll be naked. You don't want that. No, what you want to do right now, sit back, take it easy, and watch. We're in the middle of a little project here, but I get a lot of phone calls. I heard from Paul. Paul's from Trinidad, originally from Australia. This is bad when you get thrown out of two countries. But Paul and I talked for a long time the other day, and he gave me an idea how to save some money on making phone calls when you order international and all that. And we're working on that. Thank you, Paul. You see, this is a little bitty world. It covers the entire world, and it's all us, Woodturners and friends together. We're talking to him, and I was trying to explain to him about how when you work with a skew, and I got to pick up a tool, how you work with a skew is you make contact with it, and then you twist your wrist to engage the cutter. And we were talking about how to do that, and I said, you want to really master it, have somebody else just turn the wheel on your lathe, and you do it in slow motion, because that 1 RPM or 1,000 RPMs doesn't make any difference. If it's good and sharp and you know how to work it, it'll work on both situations. So that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to get past hurdles. I gotta take a second. You have no idea how hard this is today. Just a little while ago I found out that Sergeant Joe Kelly passed away. That's right, Joe Kelly, Mr. Freedom Pens. Joe wasn't the head of the program. Joe was just the mainstay of the program. Joe was the rock, the stake in the ground, the point on the earth of Freedom Pens. He was a great man in that he knew that a single person can do so much for other people to make a difference in their lives. And he did that. 250,000 pens given to the troops. 250,000. And most of them through Joe Kelly. I mean, I know I turned 1,000 pens for Freedom Pens. I did. It took me 3 years. I turned 1,000 pens of Freedom Pens and gave them to him. Why? Because I kept remembering all those guys I served with when I was in Vietnam, and Okinawa, and Guam, and Thailand, and you know, places that I served. And all these guys at the time, they were it was a forced thing. It was the draft. You had to go someplace. You had to do something. This was in the '60s. But they were all there and we were all working. We weren't a bunch of potheads and drunks and slobs. We were troops. We never missed a frag. Never ever missed a frag. And for ammo troop to say that with the kind of work we did and what we fooled around with, that's proud. Joe Kelly never missed a frag. He did what was necessary when it was required, how he had to, in order to get the job done. Freedom Pens, the wood turning world, us, we lost a good one, Joe. Joe, we're going to miss you. Really. I'm going to gather my thoughts and we're going to get back on this project. I got a little something to show you about it. Let's talk about this project we had started. The other day we took a piece of dunnage, driftwood, not driftwood, pardon me, dunnage. It came from a packing crate, and we turned it around and did a few things. But I want to show you something. When I was cutting with the skew, you see that gouge? You see that? That's not supposed to be there. That was a goof on the skew. I didn't have the tool rest at the right height. I had to raise the tool rest a little bit in order to get past the handle down here. I was sliding along, and this made me raise my hands. Raising my hands put too much cutter in,
and I didn't have control over it. If I'd raised my hands and twisted my wrist a little bit, I would have controlled the cutter. But I've got that gouge, and you're going to get these too. There's no way to sand this out or tear it out. It's got to be cut away, sliced away. But we took this piece and we sanded it to 320. I'm pretty sure that's where we stopped at. I'm going to pull off the pads now and take a look. Yeah, we got the 320. We sanded it with a self-powered, this is it, self-powered. See, I self-powered it. And it's an orbital sander. And it's something you make in the shop. I'll sell you the bushing and a bearing, and a bushing and a bearing. They're $10 a set. And you make your own handle. And I got a guy coming in from Texas next week to visit with me. And he asked me what I make on my handle before he got here. Yeah, I'll get it done. I've got the piece of handle over there, and we're going to get it turned out. I'll make them a straight and an angle. It's just like this. So he can have something to work with. But that's what we did. We sanded this piece to 320. The purpose of sanding it was to show you that at 320, I can get this to where I'm getting some chatoyance, some reflectivity out of it. You can't see it. Let me see if I can move a light. Yeah. How's that? You can see some of the reflectivity coming from this wood. This is, and all wood has it to a degree. But you can see that the difference in colors and striations. Well, okay, that's all from being sanded properly. And even a junk piece of 2x4 will have that chatoyance if you sand it properly. So we've got it down to 320. I can see some reflectivity down in the grains as the dust is blown off. And I haven't done anything else to it. What I want to do now is mark it, and then we're going to do an experiment with it. Okay, I want to show you some things. Let me see if I can get this light to get back a little bit. How's that? That out the way? Yeah, that's out the way. All right, we're going to spin this up. This is not turning quickly. And I'm going to take my skew, and I'm going to go in here. Now pay attention to this. The point is down. The point is down for a reason. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to put that skew in. I'll put a line. I'm going to step over a little bit. Put another line. Step over a little bit. Another line. Another line. Another line. Now I think on one of them I just now accomplished what I want to explain to you. There it is. All right. Hold on. I had the point down making these cuts. And when I got over here, my big fat belly got in the way, and I didn't get straight out from the piece. And I walked into it. I have a little cut, a little walking happening right up in here, where the cutter didn't start in the right groove, and when I turned it up, it did go. That's to show you that where you drive that point to go is where it's going to go. And you, the operator, is going to live with it or die with it. Take a wire cutter, a wire burner, and that's so simple. This is a piece of musical wire I got at a hobby shop. Hobby shop got flooded in Hurricane Katrina. What's that, 2005? And a friend of mine, a wood turner, went over looking to see what to get out of the place after they cleaned it out. Well, it burned out too. And he came back with this wire. And then took a piece of wire, see, it's just a straight piece of wire, and I put a knob on both ends. And these knobs I cheated. I got them at Michael's Arts and Crafts, you know, a little round ball. But I could do the same thing with anything else. What I don't want to do is wrap the wire around my finger and do it. Why? I like that finger and I want to keep it. If I wrap it around my finger and I get a bind or burn it, I could do some harm to me. And that's not harm I want to live with or work with right now. So I've made this wire burner, and when you buy them in the catalogs, they come 3, small, medium, large. Get the wire and play with it and do your own. And you'll find out, number one, you can do it like 1/10 of the cost of what's on the catalog. Number two, you can make them and give them away to your friends, and whoo, you're big time. And 3, it's another tool you can make yourself. We're going to crank the lathe up again. I'm not at a high speed. I'm at about 500 RPMs. I'm just going to take the piece of wire and lay it over the top. Now, you can see you see it? You see the smoke? That's the burning. The friction. I had a guy come in one time and say, your wires are all corroded. They're going to burn. Yeah, that was the goal. I am just establishing some perimeters. And these are being burned in. Why? Because I'm going to show you about 4 different finishes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, I can do that real good. 4 different finishes. I'd use the wire burner to put them on. Let me explain something to you here. When I do pens, when I get my pen all shaped up and ready to go just to put the last sand on, I'll put 3 rings on the top, right under the clip. Why? The proudest times I had in the Air Force, well, I was a buck sergeant, 3 stripes. Well, I made it to 5, but I mean, the proudest times I had was when I had 3. Because we got things done. That's just what it was about. Well, when I want to leave a mark on a salt and pepper shaker, a stick, a handle, a broom, a wand, any of that stuff, and want to leave a burn mark, this works really great. It does. Now there's another one where I can use a piece of Formica, and doggone it, I saw that piece of Formica yesterday. I'm going to do it one day for you. But the Formica, it makes a heavier burn, but it will do the same thing. One thing about the wire is it'll clip to a magnet in a second. Let me see, I wanted to show you that. See, it's right over that little magnetic keeper I got right there. Now, when I put these burns in, when I put the grooves in, I'll have a little rise here, a little fuzz come up. I put the burn in, got a little rope. Over here, I rolled off the burn, off the wire, and came back to it. So I got a little burnish there. A burnish is different than a sand. All the way back to 1962 in shop class, where you turned a spindle. That's what I did. And the guy said, all right, let me tell you how I'm going to do about it now. I'm going to grab us a handful of shavings, and we're going to rub it in, and that's going to clean it up a lot. It didn't really sand it. What it did was wood burnish. Wood metal burnish is worse. But a wood burnish, you can do that. I do it now, but I'd probably pick up a splinter from this. And I don't think it's worth the lesson. But you can burnish something with wood and shavings. Pick up the shavings that you have and knock it down. That'll knock off the fuzz and all. But it won't get this fuzz off. This is a little bit heavier. This has to be taken care of with some sandpaper. So I can crank it back, the lathe back up. I'm going to go into my 180. Now notice I'm standing not orbital, I'm just scratching. The difference is you can see it already. I'm leaving marks, and they're marks that are going this way, around and round and round. Those marks, if I just continue to do this, this will be slick as can be. Slick as a newborn baby's butt. But it will have marks, and those marks will show through your finish, and it will detract from your finish. So I just did that 180. My smart move, and I always have these smart moves, would be to go right back to the finer grit papers and drop my tool rest out the way. Don't move it while the machine's running. And I'm going to go back in it. That's orbital sanding. What's the difference? It's a great big difference. When I was a kid, an electric sander was a thing that had a vibrating pawl that just and it went back and forth. And then some guy at Sunbeam, yes, that's the company that did it, they came up with a way to make it oscillate. And the world needed an oscillating sander. So that's where we came from, the oscillator. Double action. In the cabinet shop, we call them a double action sander. All right? But you can sand, and you'll see the marks disappear. Now, I'd scratched this with 180, and I left some marks on it. Now, taking the 220, I didn't get all the marks out. So I'm going to look at it now and say, oh, wow, I still got those little grooves, and I've still got this little groove. I want to fix that. Oh, that's easy. We're just going to take the coarse paper off and back all the way down to our 120 that we started with. And we're going to go see if we can get all these marks out. Is this painstaking? Yes. But the finished product is worthwhile. As I'm going across them, I'm watching the marks disappear. Why? Because I'm sanding in different directions. The piece is still going round and round, but I'm sanding round and round a different round and round. Oh, wow, I can't do that 3 times. I'd have to sell them life insurance. All right, I step up to the 180. My cutter, my sandpaper, is cutting across on an angle and down, all in the same pass. It's a physics thing. All right, I'm just going to go back and forth a few times. I'm not going to be a nut about this. All right, that was 220. What? Yeah. We're going to pop up to 320 now. And that's all I had on this original. Now, notice I'm still generating sawdust with the sanding. That's an important thing, is that I see the sawdust coming and going. Why? If the sawdust stays here, it means I've overloaded the pad and I've burnished the piece. It might appear to be sanded, might appear to be soft and smooth, but it's really not. I'm only sanding if there's actual sand coming, actual dust coming off the material. Now I'm touching this thing at about 7:30 on the clock with the wheel. That's right up in here, okay. And that propels it. It's simple. You don't hear the motor in the air and all that stuff. This is so simple. I've got a $150 drill down there for doing the same thing. And guess what? I got to plug it in and take care of it. All right. That was 320. Now this piece is sanded to 320. It's been burnished. I sanded out a groove here, a heavy burnish mark here, but I'm still living with that nick. I want to leave that there because I want to show you how it's going to look when you do the finish. There's a lot of guys that believe they watch the videos and all this wood comes flying out, and that's really good.
Having wood fly off a piece, it's not always the best. We'll do more videos where I show you how to make the slice and the cut. There's some turners out there that call it wood slicing. And they're very good at it because they learn how the tool works. I mean, I know one very good turning professional. I always talk about her, Ashley Harwood. Ashley is great because she understands how that cutter is cutting. And she'll show you how to cut her cuts. Unfortunately, guys our age, gals our age, wood turners our age, we tend to look at the product and don't necessarily look at how it gets there. And I've worked with a couple of new turners in the area to explain to them it's not that big bang, it's what happens at the end of a bang. I was a munitions guy. I can make a bang and I'll make a movie star rock. But that didn't do anything any more than the small bang that really tore up stuff. So I'm going to give you the small bang that you can do the slice, and you'll be happier with the work. I'm going to take this to probably 400 before I get to put and finish on. Then I'm going to put on OB Shine Juice, Sealer, Raw Wood, and there was a fourth one. I want to play with it and see what I can come up with. I got to look at what I have in stock. Not permitted to buy anything right now. Okay, but that's what we're going to do. Oh, and I said Asheville Hardwood. Forgot to mention Waco, Texas. SWAT Turners. The SWAT event is August 24, 25, 26 of 2018. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's at the Waco Convention Center. Hey, you want more details? Get right here. Go to this website, SWATturners.org, and you'll see about it. But look at the lineup of the demonstrators and who's there. Ashley's in the top dog slot. She belongs there because you need to see and understand how these tools cut. Once you have that, you can do anything. But until you understand how to cut, you're like me, kind of a bumpkin in the woods. All right. Well, this bumpkin in the wood wants to get back to sanding and getting this thing ready. And once again, Joe Kelly, we miss you, sir. We will miss you. Until next time, I'm Captain Eddie Castle, and I'm in here, and guess what I'm doing? I'm making shavings. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get out of here. Get out of here.